Now, the first couple things I want to cover today have to do with managing users. So the Compass users, My Alarms users, that type of thing. And the very first thing I want to talk about is we changed the emails that are coming to new users. So if you got set up in the past for CMS Compass, or you know anyone that got set up, previously they were getting 2 emails from noreply@myalarms.com. And the first email had to do with the email verification. There was a link inside there. You clicked on that to verify the email address tied to the user, like right here. And then the second email that came after that was the username and a temporary password that had to be used the first time to log in. And we found that we had a little bit of confusion with My Alarms users and even Compass users. They would click the verify link, but they wouldn't see the second email that came through. So then they would sit there and guess at what their password might be. Obviously, no one's guessing at what those temporary passwords are successfully, so they would get locked out. That would cause some frustration. So what we did is we kind of cleaned it up, and everything is coming in one email. And I want to show you a really quick example of what it looks like. So it's still coming from noreply@myalarms.com, so they'll see that. But what they'll see, and this is a My Alarms user that I've set up, is the username is going to be there, the temporary password will be there, and then there's the link to verify their credentials. So the key to this is basically just go ahead, if you want to, copy this, and then go ahead and click on your credentials, and then you can go ahead and log in and copy and paste what your password is, and then your initial login setup is the same thereafter. But we're really hoping that just cutting it down to one email will make a lot more sense to people. All the information is right there in front of them, and so they're not having to worry about that second email or anything like that. So any new users that you set up in the future, just know it's still going to be coming from the noreply@myalarms.com, but it's just going to be the one single email now. So that's the first update that we did, and that's the update that we did to an existing situation. Now the second thing we did to the users, to manage users, this is brand new. We had a lot of people requesting 2-factor authentication, and so we just released 2-factor authentication. It's for email purposes only, and you can do it. It's optional, so you can do it for all of your users. You can do it for some of your users, however you want to set it up. Now, if you're an admin dealer, you have the access to do it yourself under the Manage Users tab. Otherwise, you can let us know when you call into dealer support or talk to your BDSR and you ask for a new user to be set up, or if you want an update to an existing user, you can just let us know, hey, I want to turn on the 2-factor authentication. You can say TSA if you want. For short, we'll know what that means. If you are an admin dealer, it's really, really simple. So this existing username I have right here is Anita Mann. So all I have to do is go to my pencil to update her information. Located under the web access, I click the arrow to open that up. Now here I've got access for mobile devices only. We talked about that a few months ago. That's so that she could only access Compass from a mobile device and not a desktop. That's another good tool for technicians. If you've got technicians you don't want accessing from their desktop, you could utilize this feature. But the one I want to talk about right now is the Enable 2-factor authentication. So you'll see that it's checked. And so what's going to happen on there is when this user tries to log in, they're going to get an email to whatever email address is tied to their username. They're going to get that email, and it's going to have a 6-digit code on there that they have to use to go ahead and log in. That'll be good for as long as they're logged in for that day. And then anytime they log in again, they're going to have to get a new authentication. So one of the requests we've had so far, just in the week and a half that we've had this in production, is people want an SMS. They want the option of getting a text message. That is coming. We are working on that. We wanted to get this into production as quickly as possible, and the easiest way to do that was to use the email address, because you have to have an email address for your username. You don't have to have a phone number tied to it. So we're working on a way to get a phone number tied to a username so that then they can receive a text message for the 2-factor authentication. So just kind of give you an idea of what that looks like really quickly. I'm going to log out, and I'm going to try to sign in as Anita Mann. And so we're going to use our regular password that we have set up. Now, when that user logs in, they're going to get a new tab that says 2-factor authentication, step 1 of 2. Please select one-time code sending option, And right now it's email only. Now eventually there's going to be two buttons there. They're going to select to either send to an email address or the SMS. You can see the email address is slightly masked, so they can't see the whole thing. That's just in case it's not them trying to log in. So that's masked out, but we go ahead and select send to the email address that's on file, and you'll get the next box is going to be step 2. Now it's looking for the code. Now, if I jump up here to my alarms, I'm going to see a new email, and it's going to say access code. There's my access code. I can go ahead and copy that. And now I go back to my Compass login, to my two-factor authentication. I paste that code in there. I hit next, and boom, I'm in there. Okay, so that's going to work on mobile and desktop. Okay, so that's the way the two-factor authentication is working. A lot of other websites have that. Now we feel pretty good that it's there too, because this is a security website. So now you can add that second level. But like I said, it's not required, and you can use it for some or all of your users, or none of them if you're not interested in using that. But at least you now know that it is available for you there. And again, if you're an admin dealer, then you can do that yourself. If you're not an admin dealer, you can contact us, and we'll take care of that for you. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and log back in with my dealer login. So that's our two updates to the managed users. The other update that we've made is to event codes. Okay, so, and this has to do with a couple different types of events that can come in. One is water detection, and one is temperature alerts. Now, you may or may not know this, but we've never had true event IDs for those type of events. We've always stuck them under environmentals. Because technically, water and temperature, that can be considered an environmental type signal. But the problem with that is we were having trouble with email and SMS auto notifications for just those events. And we were also having some issues with the insurance certificate of monitoring that's available on here. It wasn't picking up the water detection or the temperature alerts, so those boxes were blank. So what we've done is we've created new event IDs. And if it's a water detection or a temperature, you're going to use those new event IDs, as will our data entry department in dealer support. But we'll be using those instead of the environmental. It should clean it up. It's going to go forward. We'll be doing it on all new accounts. But if you've got accounts that you want to get cleaned up, that have been with us forever, and you're like, hey, I don't want the environmentals on there anymore. I want the water detection or the temp. You can let us know, and we will gladly work with you. Our ops support team can kind of work with you and kind of get those cleaned up and switched over, and that makes it a little bit more accurate. So what am I talking about here? So I'm going to pull up a couple different accounts to give you some examples. So let's look at the SquarePants account. Now, obviously, he's at the bottom of the C, so you know he's got to have water detection. So let's go ahead and go to the zones. He's been with us for a little while, since 2018. And you'll see here on zone 10, zone description is low water, but we've got it set as an environmental. Again, it is slightly environmental, but it's not specific enough for us anymore. So it's going to be tougher for him to get an SMS or an email auto notification just on this zone 10 low water without getting all the other environmentals that might be on his account. Also, if I go up here to my insurance certificate and I go to print this for him, and I want to send this so he get his 20% discount on his pineapple, it's going to pop up, but you're going to notice that it doesn't detect the water detection because, again, we have it set as an environmental signal. You'll notice there's no environmentals on here. So what our dealers are having to do right now is they print this out, and then they use a black marker or something like that, and they go ahead and put the X in there themselves. It doesn't necessarily look professional. So again, we wanted to fix that issue. So temperature and water detection are on the certificate, but they weren't getting selected because we didn't have the event IDs on there. So let's look at another example, and we'll show you how it got cleaned up. Let's go back to my accounts, and we're going to look at Hertz Donut and Coffee Shop. Now, we went ahead and we cleaned this one up for Bob and Mary Dunk, and we'll look at the zones on this one, and you'll see instead of on the environmentals on here, now we've got our low temperature zone 6. It's a temperature, and all of our temperature event IDs now start with TEM. Okay, so there's the difference. It's not an environmental anymore. It's TEM, and then whatever the digits are. The digits didn't change from what they were before. So the last three digits are basically the same. So you got TEM for temperature, and we've got low temp as a zone description, and then we got a high water detection, and you'll see water detection as a service type, and all my event IDs that have water detection are WAT. Okay, so we're always using TEM and WAT, and then we're going to use the zone description to tell us whether it's low temperature, high temperature, low water, high water. Okay, the idea, the most important part is it's the service type of the temperature and water detection and the event IDs. Now it's going to be easier to report off of these. It's going to be easier to send the auto notifications based off of these. And when they call up and they want their insurance certificate and you go ahead and print that out, now you're going to see it's going to look more professional because you've got the X that's in there. The system automatically puts the X. You're not having to print it out and manually put it in there. So we're really hoping that's going to clean everything up as far as the temperatures and the water detections. Like I said, if you want some help on going backwards on your accounts, we can most definitely help you with that. Contact your BDSR or contact dealer support either way, and we'll get in touch with you and we can kind of clean up your older accounts, change them from the environmental signals to the water temperatures or the water detection or the temperatures. Now, if you're doing your own data entry, which I hope you are, because it's very, very simple to do your own data entry, and you want a list of the event IDs, Jennifer Marshall, our marketing manager, has updated a document in the newsroom. It's called the Common Event Codes, or Common Event Codes, I believe. We'll see it, Common Event Codes 10/21/2020, just updated on the 21st. And if you click on that, that's a nice PDF document that's going to show the most commonly used event codes for data entry and what we use on our side. And Jennifer did a great job breaking this up. You'll see residential event codes for berg, fire. There's your water and your temperatures. And you'll also see commercial here, and same thing, berg, fire. Down at the bottom, you're going to see your water temperature. You'll see different supervisory codes. Medicals are on here as well. And she even gives you the breakdown of what to do if it's an auto notification event code by sticking the A in there. So that's a real good form. I suggest going to the newsroom and, if not downloading it, it's always going to be there, but it's pretty nice just to download and have on your computer without having to necessarily get into Compass. Okay, so that's going to be the event codes. Okay, so that's the second update that we made to an existing page per se. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a brand new function, and it is called the CMS On Test. It's a brand new website that's available, and one of the things we heard a lot of dealers say to us, especially dealers that use subcontractors for their work, was they didn't want to give those subcontractors access to Compass in order to place accounts on test and check signals and stuff like that, because they didn't want to give them their account database. And rightfully so. I mean, that's just a subcontractor doing work for you. You probably have some legal action if they stole your accounts, but who wants to go through all that? So that was the biggest concern. And even like new technicians, brand spanking new technicians, yes, they've gone through security, they've gone through background check, but still they're brand new technicians, so do you 100% trust them? And we were finding out that no, you didn't, and rightfully so, again, because they're brand new. So those people were calling in to dealer support to place accounts on test, check signals, that type of thing, slowing down the process. So what we did was we created this new website called CMS On Test. It's built basically for mobile. So we're going to jump right over here to a mobile version of it. As you can see, I've got an iPhone 10 on here. And the website for this is www.cmsontest.com. Okay, so it's a different website than Compass or My Alarms or anything like that. It's cmsontest.com. The first time your subcontractor goes to this website, what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to create a user. Now, they can do this, or if you've got someone in your office that wants to do it, that's great too. Either way, it kind of works the same way. You're just going to go on here and you're going to create your user, and then you're going to enter your information on right here. So the thing I like about this website is the username has to be unique. And as soon as they put the username in and they tab out of that field, Compass looks at that and says, is that okay to use? Can I use that username? So right now it's working on that and verifying if that username is valid. So once I get that, we'll try that again. Did not like it. We'll just do JDig. There we go. So JDig is available. Did not like JDiggity. So let's do JDig, and then they're going to put their email address in here. Again, you could have someone in your office do this, but it's probably okay just to have the subcontractor do it, or the technician. They're going to put their mobile phone in here. And all this is going to do is it's going to track this person. So when they go to place the account on test, or when they go to check signals or clear the test, it's going to track who did that. And that's what all these fields are for. We'll just say CMS, Jason Van Meter, and then they're going to basically create. Now, as soon as they create, they're going to get a confirmation that the user was added successfully. To finish the user registration, please go to the email address and do that process. So now, all they have to do is go to their email address. There's our new CMS On Test validation. They've got the logo there for CMS On Test. That's how they know they're CMS On Test and not My Alarms or Compass. And they get the same information. So there's the username, there's the password, and there's our click here to verify their credentials. Okay, so at that point, it just becomes a regular old standard setup for their initial login. Okay, so let's go back here, and let's use this for a user that I set up previously to kind of show you what they have access to. So this is a different user that I created a couple days ago to use. So they're going to use their username, their password. They're going to log in. Now, this is where it really gets different than Compass and My Alarms. They don't have access to do full searches. And the only way they can pull up an account is they have to know the CS number, the account number, and they have to have a valid passcode. Now, that valid passcode can be a site code word. It can be a contact PIN if they know that. Most of the time, you've set them up, even if they're a subcontractor, you've given them a passcode on your company contact list. And that's most likely what they're going to use most of the time. So that's the only way they're getting access. They can only get access to one single account at a time. And let's look and see what they have access to. So we'll do demo 5153. We're going to use the password that was set up for this subcontractor, and they'll hit search. Now, this is where it's going to be different again than Compass. You'll notice, if you remember right, in Compass, you go to the details page and you've got everything there, right? You've got the name and address, you've got passcodes on the account, you've got the zones, the contacts, everything is on there. With CMS On Test, they can verify the customer's name and the address, but they've already got that information because you gave it to them before they went and did the service call. Now, the only things they can do on here is they can place the account on test, they can extend the test if it's already on test, or they can clear the test if it's already on test, and they can check history. So as basic can get, but it still is a lot quicker and a lot more efficient than having to pick up the phone to call dealer support, wait for the answer, and they answer quickly, but still you have to wait for them to answer. Then you have to give them a passcode or the account number, then the passcode, and you got to tell them what you want. You can do that so much quicker right here. So what do? Well, it's real fast. They click on Place on Test. They don't have to select the date to start and the date to end or the time to end. They can just simply click right here for please select time. How long do you want to place it on test? Let's place it on test for 3 hours. 8 hours is the maximum time that they can place the account on test. Okay? They can still put in the comment if they want to. And there's the account number that's getting placed on test. Then we're just going to go ahead and click place on test. Now the system goes on test. Now it becomes a little bit more like Compass when they use the quick on test feature. Okay? Because now they've got the test history details in front of them. They can see that they placed the account on test. It's on test from 2:21 p.m. until 5:21 p.m. Okay? So we can see that right off the bat. And now I've also got my button for test results. And my test results, if you've been with me before to hear me talk about the quick on test feature for technicians, this basically shows you all the zones that are on the account and whether they've sent a signal during this test time. Okay? Red X means the signal hasn't come in from that zone. Green check mark means it has. Okay, so you can see here we just placed the account on test, so obviously none of the zones have come in yet. So as a subcontractor, as a technician, whatever, my goal here is to make sure that I have nothing but green check marks here by the time I leave this site. That way I know I've done my job. Okay, so they've also got this test history. This test history will also auto-refresh. So as they start sending signals, those signals are going to show up in here as well. Okay, so they can use the test history to see the date and time that the zone came in, but they can use the test result for the quick view to see the red X or the green arrow. Okay, now let's say, for example, let's go back to the main page here. And again, this is the main page, not a whole lot, right? So the only thing they can do now is I can't place it on test. You'll see it's slightly grayed out because it's already on test. But I can extend the test or I can clear the test if I'm completely done with my job. If I need more time, I can go ahead and click extend test. And you're going to notice it's showing you how long it's on test right now. And if I click in here, remember I told you you can only place an account on test for up to 8 hours. So the system is smart enough to know that it's already on test for 3 hours. We're only going to let you go 5 more hours, 8-hour max, no matter what. So if I still need a couple more hours, I can select 2 more hours. That extends it to 7/21. I click extend test, and now you can see that the test got changed. So if I want those details, I can see that I did it, and I can see that I pushed it out to 19/21. Now I can go ahead and continue to do my work. Okay, so again, the idea of this is what? Well, the idea is to make your subcontractors and your technicians more efficient while still protecting your account base. Okay, because now you're not having to give them all of your account information or all of your accounts information. They can't get that. They can't print anything. They can't get anything more than what you've already given them by the customer's name and the address and the CS number. That's all they can obtain for this. But yet they're still being more efficient. They're able to operate quicker because they can just work right there off of their phone, or even their mobile device or their tablet. If they happen to be using a tablet, it would work as there as well. It really is designed more for mobile, but it would work on a tablet if need be. So we're really hoping that's going to solve a lot of our dealers' issues, especially, again, like I said, the ones that use subcontractors for a lot of their work. We've got a lot of dealers that do that, fire companies especially, but we've also got a lot of regional and national companies that use subcontractors across the country for their jobs, and we're hoping that this is going to kind of free them up. And I didn't point this out on Tuesday, so feel good about this if you're hearing this. The tech help is still there. So if you got a subcontractor or a new technician that's not sure about something, they can always click on the tech help and they can get to the website. They can pull up the panel they're trying to do the work on and get the schematics of that, okay? So that's there as well. And then they're going to be able to go to settings to log out when they're done. If they're completely done with this account and we've cleared the test, so we're going to go ahead and clear this test. It's done. Now it's back here. Now they're completely done. They go back, and now all they can do is enter a new CS number and their passcode again to start the process over again. So they go to the new site that they're doing work on. They put that CS number in, and they go that way. Okay, so that's the CMS on test. Again, we're pretty happy with it so far. We've gotten a little bit of feedback so far, and the dealers that have looked at it are real happy with it. They feel more protected than giving out all of their customers' information to subcontractors or even their technicians. There's nothing to print. You can't print from this, and you're not seeing any other data. So that's going to wrap us up for today's session. And so that is the October upgrade to Compass. Now, real quickly, I meant to touch on this before we even got started, so hopefully no one drops off. Our November update is going to be on November 17th. That's Tuesday, November 17th. The following week, as you know, is Thanksgiving. Yes, 2020 is still allowing us to have Thanksgiving at this time. So most of us are all going to be off on Thanksgiving Day, so we're going to mix things up a little bit. We're only going to have one Compass Chat session in the month of November. That's going to be on Tuesday, the 24th. Okay, so Tuesday the 24th at 3 p.m. will be the only Compass Chat session we have for the upcoming November upgrade. Okay, so just kind of make a note of that to yourself. If for some reason you can't make it, then we also will be recording that like we record every single one of these, and it'll be available at our YouTube station, our CMS Compass YouTube station. I've got my own playlist there called Compass Chat, so you can go there and you can catch up on any of our sessions we've had. If you saw Jennifer's email earlier today, you saw that we were into week 21 of Compass Chats, and all the weeks have been recorded and uploaded there. So if you've missed something, or if you want to review something, or you have someone in your office that needs to learn more about Compass, send them to the YouTube station, and they can get all their information there. So again, thank you. If you have any questions about any of the updates or that I talked about, or if there was something that you were wondering about, please remember you can always go at Compass. There's always what's new right in the bottom right-hand corner, and that will show you pretty much every new feature or updated feature that took place with the latest release. Now, this is ongoing. So this is the October. You can go all the way back as far as you want if you want to see all the different updates we've had. One thing I would point out to you again is we've been live with Compass for about 4 years, almost 4 years. We are on version 118 already, so that's 118 updates that we've done to Compass. This will never stop growing or stop getting better. That's one thing we like about it. So if there's other questions, stuff that you were wondering about the update that maybe I didn't cover, go ahead and click on that What's New link, and you can see everything that took place on the last